part of the 8th generation. Most of the updates were in 2021. Today, Kevin and Michael has given us the 2022 Toyota Camry XSE in your wind chill pearl. Here at Toyota Tampa Bay, the update started with the new wheel design, updated in the safety, and some interior changes. The aggressive styling stays, room for 5, and this one, it's the 4-cylinder, so we could see how the performance is underneath it. And the best part, you're gonna save on gas. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and we're gonna go over all the specs and details, starting now. Toyota Camry has that sporty sedan element on all 4 corners. The black top against this wind chill pearl. Toyota's performance grille with the metallic gray inserts mixed with the black gloss, and even in the non-functional vent area. And you also have the silver that outlines that spoiler. In ground clearance, it's still at 5.7 inches, a height of 56.9 inches with a width at 72.4 inches, sharp aerodynamic hood lines, and it sets itself apart from the rivals like your Honda Accord and your Nissan Altima. LED headlamps and daytime running with automatic high beams. The proportions run into these 19-inch black multi-spoke alloy wheels. The disc reading at 12 inches, the rear is going to be at 11.6 inches. You're still going to receive that sports tuned suspension, which is an independent McPherson strut front suspension, a multi-link rear suspension. Both the front and the rear will have your stabilizer bar, a length at 192.7 inches with a wheelbase at 111.2 inches. Toyota safety sense 2.5, which will include your lane departure with steering assist and your blind spot monitoring. Full black roof line, which sets really nice on this wind chill pearl. And I like the fact that we have the two-tone look because it really stresses a sports performance sedan. Even though this is the 4-cylinder, you'll see here in a bit the specs, it still gets the job done in what it needs to do. All those line segments just run and wrap around into your black decollete spoiler, sitting on top of the wraparound tail lamps. The non-functional vent I can kind of do without, but the proportion layouts still have the aggressive lines on the lower bumper that encase these quad exhaust outlets. And I like the fact that we have the quad exhaust outlets on the 4-cylinder with the gray metallic in between. There's no diffuser, but it's a clean setup. You have your dynamic radar camera, your reverse cross traffic alert going inside to your cargo at 15.1 cubic feet. The rear bench split folds. There's storage underneath the floor with a spare tire. But you know, because we said this is a performance vehicle and it is a 4-cylinder, let's just hear that exhaust note to see how much performance we got underneath it. The Toyota Camry XSE has stressed the importance of detail, even on the lower skirt, making it super aggressive. Everything just tapers. In the way the sedan looks, it really does have more of a performance drive than your Honda Accord or even your Nissan Altima. If you're comparing it against the Mazda 6, you're going to be pretty much hand in hand. But the best part, Toyota backs that performance with a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder, producing 206 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque that's paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, achieving 27 to 38 mpgs, a 0 to 60 at 7.8 seconds, with a quarter mile around 16 seconds, and a top speed at 116 miles per hour. If this is not enough performance, Toyota does offer a V6 that has 301 horsepower, and that 0 to 60 would be over 2.5 seconds quicker than this one, but you're not going to get the same gas consumption. Let me know in the comments what you think about that 2022 Toyota Camry XSE as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Toyota Camry XSE, you're going to receive 38.3 inches of headroom, 42.1 inches of legroom, leather bucket front seats, black upholstery with the contrast stitching, and you got a little vinyl strip that just gives has more of that sporty heritage. 10-way power adjustment for the driver, include your lumbar support, 8-way for the passenger, which I like this because when you're comparing it to Honda or Nissan, you typically don't get 8-way power adjustments on the passenger side. So they're giving you full luxury when you're considering the facts. The dashboard is going to be a more modern look. You got a carbon fiber twist look to it with the black polish. You got that upgraded 9-inch infotainment that has your pinch, that has the swipe, this has your navigation, your Apple CarPlay, your Android Auto, 9 speakers through JBL audio sound system, Sirius XM, AM, FM. When you put it into reverse, you do have full trajectory. You have the tow line, which I don't know why you would need that, and you can change the different points in it as well. And you can also take those dynamic lines off if you like, and it goes seamless back into your navigation screen. You do have all of the safety settings as well, so you have your pedestrian detection in the front, so you don't necessarily have to worry too much. The vehicle will alert you on all 4 corners, which is super nice. It's going to be soft on both of the elbows, not sporty design. And I upgraded to a 33.8 ounce water bottle just to show you how much you could put in these cup holders. You do have a wireless charging pad, a 12 volt and a USB. I like the gear lever, and you have your driving modes for your eco, normal, and sport. Heated front seats, open up inside here to some more storage and to another couple USB ports as well. As for the steering wheel, you're going to get the multi-function with the paddle shifters, and they are pretty large. I do like the gray that's on the lower trim of the steering wheel. The gauge cluster will have a 7-inch TFT display that will go through an array of information, starting with your miles per hour, going through your driver support, audio settings, and your different safety features you could turn on and off as well. So again, Toyota just making it very easy for you to toggle through everything you need. As for the door panel, harder materials start on the top. You got the silver that's going to outline the top, one touch up and down for the driver, no dual pane windows, but storage, you can fit maybe 2 16.9 ounce water bottles, and that's pretty efficient. You have a large panoramic moonroof that goes all the way to the back seat. Let's see how I look back there. For the back seats, I'm at 38 inches of headroom, 38 inches of legroom. I fit pretty comfortable, and the seats actually feel more reclined. As for cup holders, it's a little tight for a 33.8 ounce water bottle, so I would say something less gonna fit pretty good. There's no charging ports. You do have 2 central air vents and storage behind both of the front seats. The floor is not completely flat. Elbows are going to be soft, and I mean, you have a good wide area for your butt. We'll see how I look in a second in the center. As for the door panel, harder materials on the top. You get the silver outlining it yet again, and you have storage that would fit maybe 2 at the most 16.9 ounce water bottle. But you know, let's see how I look in that center. Sitting into the center, headroom is going to be a little bit of an issue because I'm grazing. Leg room, I'm against both of the front seats in the position that I'd be sitting, and I'm blocking the central air vents, plus I'm sharing leg space, foot space, and shoulder space. So fitting 3 adults my size, it can be doable, but if you're driving more than 30 minutes, it's going to get a little tiring in the back seat. But you know, when you fit 2 in the back, the way the door panels are raised up a little bit, you feel pretty luxurious. You can feel the air circulate all around you, and you have a sufficient amount of room. You're just missing those charging ports. Taking the 2022 Toyota Camry XSE, a 4-cylinder with over 200 horsepower. We're going to see how well she performs. Right off the bat, what I have noticed, because I review Toyota quite a bit, is when you push the gas, it goes a little bit more settle in a parking lot area than the V6. So if you're looking for more of a performance-driven vehicle, you will feel that a little bit more when you push the gas pedal at a stop point to go. Whereas on this one, you have to actually kind of push it a little bit more to really feel the power derived out of the vehicle. As for the sit in the car, it's pretty comfortable. You do sit a little bit more inwards, but it's not necessarily an issue with that. And you're going to feel a little bit more of a sporty design in the vehicle. So what that means is you're going to feel some of the road imperfections. As for giving it some gas, it will go. It does get a little bit noisy, and it's not necessarily the throaty exhaust note that you would be looking for, but as you can see, when you go over anything like train tracks or impurities, it's kind of a light little bump, more or less. But for the most part, it is a smooth ride. There's no dual pane windows, so it's not going to filter out the road noise as much. As for the visibility on all sides, the windows are very large. You're not going to have any issues giving it a little go here, and like I said, that hesitation takes a second, And then to show you the braking, you can pretty much stop on a dime, and that's, you know, what you want out of a sedan. So you have all the performance that you need, more or less. If you drive this one first, it should be sufficient for you. If you go to the V6, it's going to be hard to downgrade to the 4-cylinder. Red light, green light, got it in sport mode, giving it some gas, 206 horsepower, and like I said, the performance is there if you need it. It's not going to be as throaty or as performance driven as the V6. If you're comparing it against the Honda and the Nissan, I would say you're pretty much spot on. It's not going to be something that's you're going to be drag racing or anything like that. As for the road noise, when you get up to a higher speed, you do hear it through the wheel wells, but that's pretty much it. I like the fact that there's no Prius windows on the side either. It's just a long window, so that does make it easier to see the side view mirror and the blind spot monitoring. And I also like the fact that the rear window is pretty large, so you can see pretty much everything that you need. And if you're looking back, you can almost see all the way to your cargo. So you still will use the blind spot monitoring, and if you're going on a long journey, it's gonna feel a little bit more of a sport suspension. So what that means is you can be a little tired if you're taking it on an extremely long journey, say like 4 or 5 hours, but if you're doing something like an hour or two commutes, it's gonna be pretty comfortable for the most part. And as you drive the vehicle, you get broken into it and more used to it. As for the turn radius, we're going to check that right now and show you a little bit more of that braking. We're going to also put it into the eco mode to see if it changes anything for the steering or the actual speeding. And the turn radius, you're getting about 2 lanes, and I will say that the pedal is extremely heavy. I have to really push almost all the way to the floor, so it really makes it heavy. You put it back into normal, and that same pedal is extremely light. You put it into sport and the same aspect goes on. So the modes do work, and you also have the hold mode, which gives you some more of that luxury, because when you push it at a stoplight, it will hold the brake for you. You don't have to hold the brake. So that is a nice little attribute that they give you. Got it back into sport mode, and like I said, it livens it up pretty good. Put it into eco mode, and it's going to dramatically decrease that RPM. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike, because anything more than that, I'd be buying this vehicle. The 3 things that I like about it is if you opt for the 4-cylinder, like I was saying, you're not necessarily going to be deprived too much in the performance line, because at the end of the day, it's a family sedan. You still have those sports attributes on the exterior, so I do like that with that quad exhaust, so it makes it look super sporty for this XSE. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is you get all of the tech. You got the upgraded sound system, so I mean, you have everything that you need. And the safety, Toyota every year just increases that safety, so that way you don't have to worry, and they make it so safe that sometimes when you're just engaging out of a parking lot, it will alert you even though there's nothing there. It might just be the sun. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the fact that Toyota does pay attention to detail. The way they've crafted everything, it just kind of fits nice and solid, especially the way the dash fits on the door panels, even on the exterior. They just have a really good proportion structure, and it really does stress an aggressive styling to the vehicle. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle is it is a lot of harder materials. They don't necessarily put it on the dash, it's a little bit more soft, but everywhere else the door panels are extremely hard, except for where you're going to put your elbow. So if you put it up here, it's going to be pretty hard texture. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is there's not enough charging ports. When you're in this trim, you're expecting to get a lot more charging capacity. Yes, we have a wireless charger, but there's nothing in the back for anybody to use for a USB port. And the last thing that I dislike is the way the infotainment screen is pivoted, and the only reason why I'm complaining about that is it's pivoted more the other direction instead of towards you, so you actually have to reach a little bit to get to it. And what typically happens is, depending on where the sun is reflecting, especially if you're using the panoramic moonroof, it can get a little bit of a glare because of that. Otherwise, it's a pretty solid vehicle. I mean, driving it for a long term, you're not going to have any issues. You have the safety, you have all the upgraded tech, and you have all the upgrades with the JBL audio sound system. So it even adds a subwoofer there, so you have a little bit of that bass. So if you are considering this vehicle against the rivals, I think it's definitely a top contender against the Honda Accord and the Nissan Altima. I'd like to thank Kevin and Michael here at Toyota Tampa Bay for giving us this 2022 Toyota Camry XSE for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, click that subscribe button, check out the details, the merchandise, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.